When the Chicago Bears shut out the Los Angeles Rams 24-0 in the 1985 NFC Championship game, it marked Chicago's second straight postseason shutout and made the Bears the first team to reach the Super Bowl by not allowing a point in the playoffs. The Bears had gained a reputation as a group of rowdy, free spirits, and I remember head coach Mike Ditka saying after the Bears win over the Rams, there are teams that are fair-haired and teams that aren't. There are teams named Smith and teams named Grabowski. The Rams, they're a Smith. We're a Grabowski. Well, the Chicago Grabowskis stormed into New Orleans to face the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 20, and they put on quite a show. Long before the game began, in fact, quarterback Jim McMahon, he caused the biggest stir by, among other things, mooning a helicopter. And then he was accused of referring to the women of New Orleans in a derogatory fashion. Well, the Chicago Tribune needed all the 26 staff members it sent to the game to keep track of the happenings. The Tribune, by the way, had never had more than 2 staffers in Vietnam. But that was just a war. What the Bears were about to wage on the Patriots would be far worse. After all, what could be more frightening than an attacking band of fired-up Grabowskis?
On one Sunday each January, even casual observers turn their attention to America's most watched sporting event. The Super Bowl's 20th anniversary celebration brought together the largest and most diverse audience in history and added the down-home flavor of a New Orleans street party. Over 127 million viewers worldwide tuned in on the festivities, while 2 groups of true believers reminded everyone that there was still a game to be played. Inside, under the Louisiana Superdome, the World Championship of Professional Football was at stake. The Vince Lombardi Trophy awaited either the 18-1 Chicago Bears or the wild-card New England Patriots, who had gotten this far by upsetting 3 straight playoff opponents on the road to New Orleans. But New England's momentum could not match the confidence of Chicago quarterback Jim McMahon.
We had a feeling we would blow them out because, you know, you can't be a championship ball club if you have doubt in your mind anyway. Just getting there, we knew we were going to win the ball game.
Middle linebacker Mike Singletary was just as sure.
Everybody was just kind of looking at each other. We didn't say much. We just looked at one another. And that's how it was right before the game. Guys just walked around and looked at each other and shook their head in reassurance that this is our day. I don't care who we're playing, we're not going to be denied.
The Chicago Bears were ready to take a title and make it their own.
Don't hold nothing back. This is it. You belong here. You're the best. Let's do it.
Chicago coach Mike Ditka had played in Super Bowl VI, and he knew the special pressures of this game could lead a team to early ruin. On their second play, his Bears seemed to follow this self-destructive pattern.
High formation backfield. Here's the handoff. Peyton Cutter steps to the right side, fumbles the football as he's hit, and the Patriots have recovered, it appears, at the 19-yard line. New England football at the 19-yard line, and Larry McGrew comes out of the...
Normally mistake-free Jim McMahon called the wrong formation, and normally sure-handed Walter Payton dropped the football. Only the Patriots held true to form. In 1986, they led the NFL in forcing fumbles. Larry McGrew recovered the ball on the Chicago 19-yard line. New England gratefully accepted the gift, while McMahon took the blame.
The coach sent in a weak side slant play is what we call it. And you know, I called the wrong formation. The motion man was supposed to come and block the end man on the line of scrimmage. I was sending him away from the action where he was supposed to be coming to it. And you know, just one of those things. You know, second play of the game, I just spaced.
But the Patriots may have celebrated too soon. They waved hello to their sudden good fortune, then just as quickly kissed it goodbye.
Stanley Morgan to the left side, Steffen starring wide right, and taking the handoff. Eason looking to deal, pops to the left side, going for Lynn Dawson, and it's incomplete. Pass sailed over the head of Dawson, who had a step on the coverage down the left side of the field. Tony Eason takes the snap, looks to throw, looking left, throws the middle, and it's dropped incomplete. Three incompleted passes. They settle for 3.
While Tony Franklin gave New England the earliest lead in Super Bowl history, ominous overtones filled the air. Patriot coach Raymond Berry had decided to depart from New England's reliance on the run and attack the Bears with play-action passes. The bold strategy nearly worked. Tony Eason's first pass was on target to a wide-open Lynn Dawson, when suddenly the tight end's left knee gave way. A cinched first down was lost, and Dawson left the game with torn ligaments. Eason's second pass was just as true, on a slant to Stanley Morgan. This time, the misfire cost the frustrated Patriots a touchdown. Morgan appeared to drop the ball cleanly, but a replay shows that he had help from Mike Singletary.
The second play of the game, my responsibility was really to get out there, if it was going to be a pass play, to help the cornerback as much as I could. The receiver was coming across the field, so it really made me take a hard turn inside. I couldn't look back for the ball. I had to look at him, and I had to read his eyes. And I was hoping that that would be enough to make him drop the ball, and it was.
New England's near misses did not end with the first series. In a long afternoon of what-ifs and might-have-beens, Berry's passing fancy was doomed to failure. The Patriot defense also dropped several chances to continue its turnover touch. Twice in the first quarter, number 55, Don Blackman, had his hands on a McMahon pass with nothing in front of him but open field. These missed opportunities filled the air with storm warnings, and the hurricane-strength Chicago Bears were on the horizon, ready to inflict a natural disaster. The stunned Patriots watched their fragile lead get blown away in a record-smashing tidal wave of points.
Patriots it appeared, jumped off sides, tossed to Suey. Tackle, touchdown! Yes, William Perry has scored on a 1-yard touchdown run in the Super Bowl!
Chicago's last NFL championship had arrived with the Beatles in 1963. Now there was a new wave quarterback to emulate.
And we've got a bunch of loonies. I mean, we got some crazies on our team that just cannot stomach losing. I think that's the biggest thing I've done for this team is bring some personalities out of the closet. Because, you know, they saw what a fool I make of myself sometimes. But I think I do the little things that help us win. Being able to pump people up and to, you know, to have some fun.
But McMahon's greatest fun begins when the Bears put the ball in play. The punk rocker turns into a street tough who is more than willing to mix it up with the big boys. McMahon took all the shots that New England had to offer and came up for more. but his coach called for a less reckless approach. Mike Ditka wanted McMahon to use his mobility within the pass pocket to attack New England with his right arm instead of his body. Ditka's aggressive game plan called for a wide variety of passes, everything from quick hitches to crossfield misdirections. Throughout his pro career, McMahon's detractors had complained about his impetuous go-for-broke attitude, but no one had ever questioned his courage or desire. And in the biggest game of his life, number 9 kept getting back up to find the open man, connecting on 12 of 20 passes. During Chicago's cold weather playoffs, McMahon had started wearing gloves. In the climate-controlled Superdome, he kept them on to get a firm hold on an offense that would gain 408 yards for the day. The quickest strikes went to Willie Gault, a wide receiver with world-class speed, who sprinted untouched through the Patriots for 129 yards on 4 catches. In desperation, the New England secondary turned to intimidation. But when Patriot defensive backs got hung up with Chicago wideouts, McMahon simply set another part of his multifaceted attack in motion. Everyone played a part as the offense stepped out of the long shadow cast by the Bear defense to prove that Chicago was more than half a team. For defensive captain Mike Singletary and defensive coordinator Buddy Ryan, the challenge was to shut down the Patriots after the quick early score. This the Bears did, emphatically and almost completely. By halftime, New England's total yardage read -19.
You know, it's kind of like kill a flea with a sledgehammer type attitude. You don't want to let up. The biggest thing that I remember about Tony Eason was just coming out of the huddle. I saw a look of confusion, maybe of doubt, disillusion, whatever. The confident look just wasn't there. I think it was because we were getting to him and putting pressure on him, putting him on the ground.
Eason looking around. He's hit by Steve McMichael and brought down. Ball popped loose. The Bears say they've got Bears say they do.
Eason's first 6 plays ended in a sack and 5 incompletions. Yet still he continued to throw as the Patriots gambled to alter their run-oriented attack, backfired badly.
The thing that got New England to the Super Bowl, we didn't see it that day. They tried to throw the ball against us, and it just wasn't the day to do it. They just came out and they tried to pass. Well, automatically, our ears are going to fly back, and those guys love to pass rush. You know, it's just Highway 88, I guess you'd call it.
Highway 88 was not a safe place for Tony Eason. After 3 sacks, 1 fumble, and no completions in 6 attempts for -36 yards, Eason gave way to veteran Steve Grogan, who would fare no better until the game was completely out of hand. But Patriot quarterbacks were not the problem. Chicago's 46 defense was. Buddy Ryan had created the most devastating defense in Super Bowl history.
When you talk about the 46, you're talking about pressure. That's what we're really all about. It's just the pressure that we're trying to apply. Basically, it's a 7-man front, and you always have at least 6 guys coming.
Even when the Patriots stopped the blitz, they still had to deal with pressure up the middle from down linemen like number 99, Dan Hampton. All these flying bodies were meant to give New England the impression that Chicago had more than 11 defenders on the field at once. With all their options exhausted, the Patriots had no place to run and nowhere to hide. The 46 seems to defy logic. With all those people rushing the quarterback, someone should be open downfield. But if there was, the Patriots seldom could find him, and even when they did, success was not guaranteed. The 46 even beat the Patriots at their own game, forcing 6 turnovers and giving up only 2. Like kids at a company picnic, the Bears were having a field day. But they were not without compassion for the Patriots' predicament.
All the things that we can do off 46, we've got at least 50 different faces, at least 50 different things we can do. That's a minimum of what we can do with the 46. And you take a young quarterback, such as Eason, coming into the game and trying to figure it out, there's just no way in the world, especially coming out trying to pass early. And by the time they went to a running game, it was a little too late.
The Patriots' running game couldn't solve the 46 either. With 11 attempts, New England gained only 7 yards in a devastation so complete that even the Bears couldn't believe it.
They totally dominated that football game. It was a thing of beauty. Everybody did their jobs. They were hitting people, causing turnovers. You know, New England was supposed to be the team that, you know, caused all the turnovers. I mean, just look at the statistics at halftime. I mean, minus 19 yards. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, you can't even write a script for that.
This outrageous script called for Chicago to hold New England to minus yardage until the score was 30-3, and that was before Reggie Phillips scored with an interception. But Mike Ditka knew that the unbelievable scenario was true. He had watched his team outscore 2 previous playoff opponents 45-0. In their eyes, you could see Patriot pride had suffered a crushing blow. But even in defeat, the New England defense kept one pregame promise and kept it with a vengeance. The Patriots were determined to stop Walter Payton, the NFL's all-time leading rusher. It was as if Payton's greatness brought out the best that New England had to offer. After years of personal brilliance with losing Bear teams, Payton had finally found himself at pro football's summit. Yet, ever the team player, he offered to serve the greater good in a lesser role, as a decoy.
You know, they came out in the paper that week saying, you know, we've got to stop Walter Payton first. You know, and they did a good job with that. They stopped Walter Payton. I think they were too worried about Walter and they forgot about everybody else. I faked the ball to Walter, and their whole right side of their defense, you know, thought he had the football.
New England's preoccupation with Payton opened a whole horizon of offensive opportunities for the rest of the Bears. Overlooked backfield mate Matt Suey took center stage with the day's nicest run for an 11-yard touchdown. Jim McMahon also used the Payton decoy to score once on an option play and later on a 1-yard dive.
Inside McMahon on a keeper, leaps the line to the end zone for the touchdown.
Soon everybody was volunteering to run the ball into the end zone. But big number 72 already had experience at the goal line. His name, William Perry, alias the Refrigerator.
He's a happy big boy. You know, he's just happy-go-lucky guy, just enjoys himself. People come up to him and say, hey, you're fat, you know, and he says, yeah, so what? Yeah, I am, you know, it doesn't bother him. Because there's a lot of 300-pounders in the league, but they're not quite his shape. You know, most of them are 6'6" or 6'7". Fridge is what, 6'1.5", 6'2". As everybody's seen now, he's a heck of an athlete for being a big guy. The man can play, and he can hit. And as far as that ball game, he played a whale of a game defensively. You know, he rose to that challenge. When you get that big a man moving and it hits somebody, you know, something's going to give, and it ain't the Fridge. You know, he hit Mike Singletary that game, too. You know, Mike almost broke his neck after he hit him.
And this guy nails me. I mean, I couldn't believe it. He nailed me. But anyway, the running back ran out there in the flat. I ran out there to cut him off from the sideline, at least. He turned back in, and as I turned back in, I saw this huge mass. Every time I think about it, it's kind of funny now. It certainly wasn't funny then.
The amazing story of a rookie named the Refrigerator reached a fitting climax in Super Bowl 20. William Perry made 3 tackles and 2 assists, flattened 1 teammate, started 2 fights, attempted 1 pass, gained 2 yards, and scored 1 thunderous touchdown. While the Refrigerator was Super Bowl 20's most versatile player, Richard Dent was selected its most valuable. Someone from the defense had to be chosen, and number 95 was the most likely candidate, having spent the day plundering the Patriots' backfield, forcing fumbles, batting down passes, and finishing off sacks. By the 4th quarter, Dent and his fellow starters were on the sidelines watching Chicago's second unit finish off the scoring. A safety made the final score 46-10, leaving the Patriots to contemplate their role in the most lopsided game in Super Bowl history. New England had faced a uniquely talented team at the very peak of its potential. It's very doubtful that any team in football could have stopped Chicago on this day. The Bears ended their record-setting Sunday with one more Super Bowl first. They carried 2 coaches off the field in tribute to a classic performance by which all Super Bowl winners past and future will now be judged.
After Super Bowl 20, there was talk of a Chicago dynasty. The 1985 Bears were the youngest team ever to win a Super Bowl, and it appeared that the 80s would belong to them. But right after the Super Bowl, defensive coordinator Buddy Ryan departed. 2 years later, Walter Payton retired. Then Jim McMahon was shipped to San Diego. The Grabowski era officially ended when Mike Ditka was let go following the 1992 season. The 1985 Bears did not become a dynasty, but for 1 year, they were one of the most dominating football teams in NFL history.